2x2 MIMO doesn't work. Keep it simple. Now, this actually is a first introduction video of an experiment that we're starting to do, which is kind of a much bigger picture for us, is to really get our heads around what's going on outside. Now, take it into context as well that let's say 2-3 years ago, before we had elements like RUTX50, in my video I used the RUTC50. We're going to see more modems coming from Teltonika, plus all the other manufacturers. We are also going to test a Alpha 5G modem. All of those modems now have 4x4 MIMO. And one of the first questions that I asked our manufacturer, our supplier, Teltonika, and I also asked Alpha, and you can see in the on the internet as well, is what are we going to do? Because we are all used to having 2x2 MIMO. So we have 2 LPDAs, log periodic antennas. We have Export 2, which has 2 elements in there. We have all sorts of antennas, which you can also buy at RxShop's website, but they only have 2 antennas. Suddenly, we get modems. They all have 4 antenna ports. What do you do? Now, I mean, the first simple question I asked the support line was, what do I do? But they're not passionate antenna engineers. And they just said, well, you need 4x4. I said, well, I don't have 4x4. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about like all the customers that has bought antennas from us or overseas from whoever sells antennas. They were hesitant to go from 1 to 2 antennas. Now we're going to have to tell them go from 1 to 4 antennas. That doesn't necessarily sit well because the price doesn't get much cheaper for 4 compared to 2. So we need to find the solution to this. We really need to get our heads around what's going on. So what we're doing, and it seems it doesn't get done in, well, I couldn't find anything other than people that I talked to in the US as well. Nobody really sits down and just thinks this through. Looks like we get modems, we have antennas. What can we do to make the best mix out of this? And it's not just to sell antennas, it's not just to sell modems, it's really to get a handle on what's the best end user experience. So we first went to another site, RapidPay, thinking that is where we will get a good signal for testing. Good signal means the signal is bad enough that we can use an antenna to make it better. We found out in our first trip that is too far away. The signal was too weak, that we actually got nothing to work properly. And I found a new site. So we selected Myponga Beach here in South Australia, because for Myponga Beach, which is that location there, as you can see on the map that we have on the screen now, it's isolated, it's shielded, and going over the bay, not the bay, but just over that coastline on the other side, you could see one little township, and there are 2 towers there for Vodafone. So I know what I have. I'm here, and I can only connect to those towers that are on the other side of the shore. And that means I have a controlled environment with a network that is limited in other exposure over there to do the test. What I need to say as well is I am using Vodafone Australia. And you will see all my tests are using Vodafone Australia. And it's not because of anything against Telstra or Optus, and it's not because of anything in favor of Vodafone Australia. I just have to be practical about where I am going to test. So that's really what we did, and that's where we started to paint this picture. So as you could see on the screen, I have this table of tests that I put up for myself. It's not complete because I learned things that I needed to see, and I needed to learn things that I didn't want to see. And there's a lot of results that means I need to go back with a better idea. So the first thing I learned was, as a tester, there's different frequency bands, and every time you set up the modem again, either the signal is good enough that it goes to, let's say, band 1 or band 3 or band 5. Sometimes it just finds one of the bands. It's a minor thing, but if you want to test an antenna, it's a massive thing, because your antenna has different characteristics in different frequencies, and those bands are all in different frequencies. Plus, as nature would have it, physics means that the band behaves different over that distance that I'm trying to test. So my signal is weaker there in the higher frequencies. My antenna gain is higher. You get twos and fro's, and it makes it quite well, all over the place, so to speak, in your test. Was I could say, suddenly I use this antenna, I'm on band 3, and I'm using that antenna, as you can see on the screen, now I'm on band 5. Speeds are faster because I'm on band 5, but not on band 3. All those complexities just makes this whole matrix very complex to test. So I kind of got the results as on the screen to see, well, we got a data point, we have a starting point, we learned something, but we need to know what we're doing. So fortunately, there's this simple and very nice feature on the RUTC50, which I used, which is all the Teltonicas have, that you can tell it, now stick to one frequency band. So next time I'm going back, I'm going to say, okay, today I'm just going to test band 3, which is that frequency. And that frequency is all I'm going to look at as the characteristic for my link from A to B. My antenna has a certain property in that frequency band, and I can compare apples with apples all the time, rather than having apples and then some pears and then throw in some grapes as well, for argument's sake. And the one thing I have learned, and this is maybe the big lesson coming out of this video, is 2x2 doesn't work. It doesn't work on a 4x4 MIMO. It just simply doesn't. That's the important thing to note. So if you have a 2x2 antenna, like say you bought the LPDA from us or anywhere in the previous generation, on a previous modem, which only had 2 ports, and you take that same antenna and you connect only those 2 antennas to this device. I tested it on port 1 and 2, I tested it on port 1 and 3, and I left the other 2 disconnected. I always had trouble with my connection. I had some poor results and I had some failed results. I always had problems. Whenever I had something connected to the other ports, now where I'm on the beach, there is a bit of a signal. So if I just put the little dipoles on the own antennas of this thing, I got phenomenal results, and I could see the difference by changing the 2 main antennas to bigger ones or different antennas. So it was very useful. So what the lesson is there, if you use a 2x2 antenna configuration, which you may have had previously, or you have limited budget, or you have limited space on your roof or something, if you use 2x2, you need to find a way to have the other remaining 2 antennas of this modem also available to get some signal. Doesn't have to be as good, I think, of that thought, because I'm going to test that next time we go to the beach. But you need to have the other remaining 2 antennas also receive a signal so that the modem can do its thing. If you don't have that, if they're not connected at all, we had massive problems on our test setup. Every time it failed or was miserable. But once we put the other remaining 2 antennas on there, it was a huge success. I mean, the best that I got was download of, I'm just going to quickly look at it now, 76 down and 20 up. That's the kind of order of magnitude I could get if I had 2 antennas small and 2 of the big antennas out there. And if I had small antennas and only 2 antennas connected, sometimes the test just simply failed. So that's the first lesson that we had, and that's the test idea. We're going to do more tests, and we were going to keep doing this, because this is now, we believe we found a site that's really awesome. We found a network that really works the way we want it to work in that specific area. So watch the space. There's going to be more. Now, we of course have an idea what we're going to test, but it's what we think is necessary. And the big thing for us is we want to know what the audience wants to learn. So we think we need to learn certain things, and it's so important that we get feedback on what this video does and this kind of thinking that we're going to do. So please comment on this video, give us any thoughts, any feedback. We'd love to hear what you think about this thinking pattern and where we're going with 5G. And please subscribe to this video if you have not done so. We have all the products that we talk about on our website. So visit rfshop.com.au if you want to have a look at what we have available. If it's a Teltonica or pointing product that you want that is not shown on the website, just give us a call, send us an email. We can get any of those products into stock for you as well. Well, thanks for watching.